Okay, this is Hideous. We're doing a replay analysis looking at Wukong top into Gangplank. This is in Bronze 4. Okay, so starting out, Gangplank is super late to lane. So shoving is probably a pretty good move. And the turret eats his first wave, pretty much. So yeah, and there's your level 2. It's cool. So starting out, you have a pretty solid advantage. Gangplank, though, is just going to be super irritating to deal with. He'll be able to harass you consistently with Parlay, or farm easily with Parlay, pretty much. But he's also missing a lot of CS here, so I'm not sure what's going on with him. You gotta be careful about using a key ability like that, like right in front of him. Like you come up here and Gangplank walks up and you use your Nimbus Strike on... what? On minions right in front of Gangplank, which then tells Gangplank that one of your abilities is on cooldown, so if I go in and aggress right now, he can only answer me, you know, with his Q. But overall, you're doing fine. You're focusing on farm, out-farming this dude. Trying to fight Gangplank is always going to be a little iffy because he's just so weird to fight. Nimbus Strike first and then dash, or then flash. If you Nimbus Strike to Alistair and then flash, you get beyond him. Instead of flashing right into his ground pound. So, when you see him... So, by this time you should have warded, by the way. By 3:30 you should have your ward down in the river, or in Tribush, even better. But at this point you don't see him until now because he paths pretty smart. So you come here, you flash like right into his knockup. Like you didn't even need to flash there. You could have walked all the way to the edge of the brush and then flashed to the other brush and skipped it. But you flash into his knockup when you could, you could sit here on the edge, Nimbus Strike to him and then flash, and he probably can't react quite fast enough for that. So. And then you're beyond him. Then maybe he headbutts you, and if he's got a really solid Q, headbutt knockup combo, maybe he still gets you. But doing what you did, pretty much guaranteed that you died. Okay. Okay, you just got ganked by Alistair and killed, and you didn't buy a ward. So, that's the appropriate response to jungle pressure, is getting a ward. I'm not gonna let that happen again. So don't get this rejuvenation bead. Get 2 potions and buy 2 wards. Buy a pink ward. It will sit, or do something. So you were doing a pretty good job of CSing. That gank has really set you far behind, though. You're missing 1s and 2s that you don't need to be. So that's the kind of thing. It's like you did a really good job of laning early, and you had a big CS lead on Gangplank, and he came to lane late, and so it was pretty much like, you were doing really well. You had won it. But then you forgot to ward, and you throw all of it away. And when you're winning a lane, your lane opponent is pinging for his jungler to come. And usually when you're winning, you're going to be pushed because you're aggressing. And so you're overextended, which means you're gankable, and your lane opponent is probably asking his jungler to come gank because you're beating him. So even like doubly so, you need to make sure that that lane is warded. Okay, good. Hit 6 before he does. Forces flash. The only thing that's kind of slightly negative about that is that your mana was so low, you didn't really have a chance to actually kill him. So you did force him to burn his flash, which is definitely, that's definitely good. But now you need to go back. You have no kill pressure now. You have nothing. Your ult is down, you have no mana. Go back to base. Go back to base! Why are you sticking around? What are you going to accomplish? Are you waiting for like an item break or something? Maybe, but like he's not in lethal range. You don't have the mana to kill him. And you have teleport, so much better to go back to base, get some mana. Actually have pressure in the lane so that you can CS this stuff rather than having to get bullied by him. Look at him, he can just shove you out because you don't have any mana. Don't hesitate to go back when when you're low. You do not need to have, it's the best backs are when you've forced your opponent out of lane or killed him. You shove the lane, you go back at an appropriate item gold point. But that doesn't have to be the case. That's not always going to be the case. That's like best case scenario. Now, now you're so low that you don't have any pressure and you don't have any mana. Dude, go back to base. You can't do anything. He's winning the lane because he's coming back. Like he's coming back in the lane because you have no mana. Because you have no kill pressure on him. You were waiting so long to go back that he is slowly catching up to you. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. I have to speed up until you recall. He goes back again, so he's going to come back even stronger now. Thank you. Finally. And so then when you finally do go back, like you finally do have the lane to yourself and recall, but you set up a freeze for him before you leave. You either need to shove it all the way in, or let it freeze right here. Like, don't clear a wave just so it's going to park right out here for him. And now it's just waiting for him to come back. Nice big wave that he can freeze right outside of his turret if he's smart. And continue to deny you CS. Okay, I'm glad you're warding, but ward this. This is where the jungle gank is going to come from 90% of the time. Put it right on the edge of the brush right here, so you catch him coming from here, you catch him coming from here, and if he's not really smart, you'll catch him coming up from here too. This only catches people coming from river. You get more ward coverage by using it in the tri-bush there. Okay, good. Good. See, you had an item, you had mana to follow up with more abilities, and you ulted him, and you're able to kill him. That's what you want to be looking for, and you could have done it a long time ago if you'd gone back to base. Nice. Oh, not quite. Okay, nice. You had to burn a lot to get out, but that's okay. They're wasting a lot of time trying to kill you now, so... The only actual unfortunate thing about that situation is your team isn't really responding with pressure of their own. So these guys are kind of doing this for free. They're not being punished very hard. So as you're running from them, you can kind of be typing in 3 top, pressure mid, or pressure bot, or that kind of thing, so that your team, even if they're not paying full attention, you are making them aware that there's a big disparity in the, they're parking a bunch of people up top and they're wasting time chasing you, and it's time that Ezreal could have spent shoving the lane into the turret instead of doing whatever he was doing. I feel like Ezreal may be having connection issues. This Gangplank is too. Okay, you're level 9. You didn't upgrade your warding trinket. You're in trouble. Upgrade this at level 9. Get it done. Make it happen. This will win you games. This will win you more games than any of these. Guaranteed. Get in the habit of upgrading this at level 9. Okay, so now that top is down, you don't have nearly as much pressure up top because there's no objective for you to pressure. So Gangplank, in theory Gangplank is maybe a little more vulnerable because you can't run back to a turret, but if he's smart, he'll just play it safe and you don't actually have an objective to threaten, so the enemy team doesn't have to pay any attention to you anymore. As long as you're top lane, at least not for a long time. So since there's nothing to defend, that was maybe a little bold. Yeah, you needed to harass him down a little bit more. You're doing a lot of damage, but you're not like, you can't just, you don't want to just go in and use all your abilities and all your mana and your health and your time and all that stuff like that. Unless you're really pretty sure that it's going to work out, because now you're coming down and you're teleporting into this, but you don't have any, you don't have your ult. I'm not sure why you teleported into this. It's Blitzcrank. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, so you used all of that, and unfortunately, Gangplank gets away because you didn't really calculate how much damage you could do, and now you're looking bot lane. And I don't know why you're teleporting here. Like, it's Blitzcrank, dude. I mean, maybe you pick Blitzcrank up, maybe. But you don't have your ult. He has a speed boost. It's not worth teleporting down just for that. You got to be a lot more confident you can pick up a kill to make it worth teleporting. Why isn't Sona ulting? Sona! Okay. So that was kind of a wasted teleport in my opinion, because best case scenario, you're going to pick up the support. You're going to kind of clean up a support kill and not get anything from it. So you spent teleport, time, mana. Even if you kill Blitzcrank, what are you going to do with it? You gave up a lot of pressure top, where you could continue to pressure this turret for a garbage kill bot. So even if you kill Blitzcrank, were you going to be able to pressure this turret? Were you going to be able to pressure some other objective? I don't know. It didn't look like it. You're going to be really careful that you're not spending those summoner spells and your abilities and your time meaninglessly. it's really important that you're using those in the most effective places and times possible. Okay, there you go. Okay, this is dangerous for you to be here now, because you don't have a lot of pressure elsewhere. Dragon is up, so there's definitely that to consider. But your team isn't really grouped to actually take Dragon, to pressure Dragon. This is just Rammus committing suicide. And so, for you to actually have good pressure here, it would require your team to be in place to contest this, so that you being up here is meaningful. Like, right now, you being here isn't like, helpful to your team. Because the enemy team didn't have to make a choice. They weren't like, oh my gosh, we either have to 5-man dragon or 4-man dragon, or we have to deal with Wukong. One or the other. We're going to lose something. We're either going to lose dragon or we're going to lose top turret. But that's not really the case for this situation, because your team wasn't grouped around dragon, so it was just Rammus. So they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. We can send Gangplank top to stop them, to stop Wukong, and we can get dragon. Easy. We'll win the fight, we'll get Rammus, we'll get the dragon, and we don't really have to worry about Wukong, because Gangplank can hold him until we can teleport up there. So you weren't forcing the enemy team to make a choice at all, because you didn't wait to come up here and do this until your team is in position to give pressure somewhere else on the map. Secure the kill before you move on. It's Gangplank. He's going to be really hard to catch. This is the kill that you can be sure you're going to get. Secure this before you go do something else. Yasuo suicides and gives the kill to Sona, so that kind of sucks. There you go. There you go. Well done. Good ult. I'm not sure what Alistair thought was going to happen there. He just created a shutdown for you, so that's kind of goofy. Okay, good. You teleport bot to stop Gangplank. Push the lane, push the lane. Okay, good. That was pretty dangerous, because they knew you were down there and you'd spent a long time down there and you didn't know where Gangplank was. Going in on Jinx in general was kind of risky. Why didn't she ult? Oh, she's out of mana. That sucks. It's another kind of weird flash there. So, like, you can use flash to juke people like that. But, like, think about using it at the most efficient time possible. So you juke here. You would have been much better off juking up here. But why wouldn't you wait until you got in the bush and then flash when they committed to the brush? That's going to give you the most amount of time to actually, to get the most amount of distance. If you juke here, then you can maybe flash into Dragon Pit and escape that way. So at this point, you're spending a lot of time kind of off on your own. And 8 and 2. So at this point, let's just go back here for a second. So this is pretty easy to predict and get in place for. So you know the dragon is coming up, and not only that, but Ezreal windwalled it. So you're coming down, which is fine. You want to be in position for dragon. It's really risky to be here. Like, for all you know, their whole team is here, dude. Why would you come this far forward? This is so dangerous. And not only that, but you don't actually go aggressive on Blitzcrank. You kind of walk past him for some reason. So you finally do go aggressive here. You guys take out Blitz. Your team has not been prepared, so you need to have a dragon timer. So when you hear dragon go down, if it wasn't your team that took it, when you hear dragon go down, you got to type that into chat, and then you got to be paying attention to the timer so that you know when it's about to come up, so that you can be starting to ping your team to gather around dragon, and not to be off doing something else, but to gather around drag so that you guys can contest it. What are you doing? You can't walk into Alistar. He has so much CC. So dangerous. Fortunately, he's going for Ashe and not you. Auto attack. Auto attack. Your movements are just kind of really inefficient here. You're spending a lot of time walking that you could be spending attacking. Okay, so you knock up Yas and Alistar. The Yasuo flashes and kills Ashe anyway. This whole time Rammus is doing Krugs. Oh, that's brutal. So there's a chance that he just doesn't know. But if you realize that somebody is just absolutely not on the same page as you, that's the time to just give it up and leave and give them dragon. They win. They have a jungler that's paying attention. GG. You know, they don't give them kills and the dragon. You're gonna come out ahead here, I think, because you're so fed. Flash, dude, flash Q. Oh, you waited to go until he knocked you up. Flash Q. Flash Q. Their whole team is disconnecting. What is going on? Okay, so at this point you're chasing Yasuo so much, dude. Just flash. Just flash and kill him. This is such a waste of time. This is such a gigantic waste of time. Look at what Jinx is doing. Look at what Mid is doing. The whole time you're chasing Yasuo all around the map, you've committed your entire team that's alive to chasing Yasuo. And no one is defending bot. No one is defending mid. If the enemy team has any intelligence at all, which they're not using super well, they're gonna take that, and they're gonna take this turret, and they're gonna take this turret. Fortunately, they're not all on the same page, and they don't do that. But look, I bet they get bot here. No, you're gonna teleport in and save it. Okay. But yeah, chasing Yasuo around for that kill, absolutely not worth it. That's 300 gold for a loss of almost complete loss of map control. If they had responded to that more quickly and better, then you guys would have lost at least one turret. So yeah, so let's look at this decision that you've just made. So this one works out. It does work out. So this is not going to be a great example, and Blitzcrank is AFK, so there's that, I guess. But of these two things, of this turret and this turret, which is the more important? This one is more important. The enemy team messes up and they lose the fight here. So I didn't look and see what happened. I'm not going to go back and look. It doesn't matter. They mess up. You didn't know they were going to mess up. You are out split pushing bot lane without teleport when their entire enemy team is pushing your inhibitor turret. They're ahead. They've demonstrated an ability to win fights against you guys. And you're split pushing bot while they're pushing an inhibitor turret. Unless you only do this if this is like the absolute last ditch effort. Like, the game is lost already and you might as well try to get some turrets and see if maybe they mess up. You're Wukong, you're super fed. You have massive strength. Why would you not be with your team where you can use your ult in its most effective way, which is in a team fight where you can knock out multiple people? So you pick up one outer turret, and again, your team does end up winning, so it works out. You're going to be okay. But then, yeah, you stick around here, and it's like, even if it was the right decision to split push here, you overstayed, because your team didn't have pressure anywhere else, so you're the most interesting thing happening on the map. There's nothing else for the enemy team to deal with. Look, there's nothing in danger here, there's nothing in danger here, nothing in danger here, nothing in danger here. The only interesting thing happening on the map is you pushing bot. So it's a no-brainer for them to just come and deal with you. So you need to leave at that point. When you're the only thing for that enemy team to have to deal with, you need to leave. It's not an effective split push anymore. The point of split pushing is to make that enemy team make a decision. And hopefully make a bad decision. Do they deal with you, or do they deal with the rest of your team? And if the only logical decision is dealing with you, then it's not an effective push. You're not making them make a choice. So make them make a choice. Wait to split push until your team has pressure elsewhere. And in this case, you shouldn't have been splitting at all because this is way more important. And if you hadn't chased Yasuo around, you would still have teleport. So if you had teleport, then that's a little different. Then you can be splitting this and then you teleport into the fight. Or you join the fight and you win the fight really hard and then you teleport here and take an objective. Yeah, you come in and kind of tried to 1v3 there, which is not ideal. Again, you're spending so much time apart from your team. Like, this is not Wukong's strength. This is not what Wukong brings to a team. Wukong brings early lane pressure, he's an early lane bully, and he brings a massively powerful team fight ult. It's gigantic how powerful that thing is. Between you and Sona, you should be winning every single team fight. You are not using your strengths well by split pushing. If you are with your team, you win this fight. This fight is your team wins this fight if you are with them. I almost guarantee it because you are so built. You have so much utility with your ult. I don't think you should be building straight damage because that's not what your team needs. Like, let's look at your team. You've got an AD carry, you've got an AP carry, you've got Sona, who's pretty squishy but provides a lot of utility. Lots of damage, lots of utility. Lots of single target utility. You're the only one that's got a team fight wide ult. You gotta be really careful about building straight damage when you're in this position. If you have some other like bruiser on your team that can provide a lot of crowd control to an entire team, like you have a Sejuani jungle or something, then maybe you can err on the side of going a little bit more toward damage. And going Hydra is fine, and then going Black Cleaver is really good, but building Last Whisper after that is pretty greedy. Build Last Whisper like 6th if the game makes sense for it. Get your Randuins next, like I hope you're doing now. Or maybe you're going for, I don't know what you're doing. But again, you're not with your team. Your team is losing a fight and you're not with them. You're not creating pressure. You're not forcing the enemy team to do something other than what they want to do. They did not have to come and deal with you there. And your team was not in a position to do anything effective if they did come and deal with you. You can't get caught in the trap of just split pushing to split push. You have to split push effectively. Are you going to split push when, you know, when your team can handle a 4v5 for a few seconds and they can stall and disengage? Okay, that might work, but that's not the case with this team. Are you going to split push when if the enemy team comes to deal with you, where either your team can handle a 4v5 long enough for you to get an objective, or if they come to deal with you, can your team get an objective? And that was not the case in either of those situations. They were either going to beat your team, which they did, and then they chose to deal with you anyway, but your team wasn't in position to do anything. So you're splitting just to split. You're not splitting at effective times when it's going to have an impact on the enemy team. And like I've said already, as Wukong, I don't think you should be splitting at all in this situation. You need to be with your team. Your team desperately needs you so they can win team fights. Take a look at that. You and Sona together are absolutely unstoppable. Look at this. You're grouped with your team. You guys have enough vision that you catch out Alistar. Alistar is out of position. You know that because you can see these guys and you see that he's in the jungle out of position. So here you go. Sona comes in. Bam, you launch into their back line. Ult. Ezreal ult. Deleted. Double kill for you. They collapse on a fight they shouldn't have. Yasuo's nowhere near where he should be. Bam. Triple kill for you. The only unfortunate thing is that your team has lost so many fights up to this point that you didn't have you lost an inhibitor, and you can't really capitalize on that fight very hard. Don't you fall prey. Nice. Okay, nice escape. That was pretty clutch. See, that's you should not have used teleport there. You should not have even walked up here. You should have gone here first. You should have gone to Dragon. It was you put yourself in a position where you had the teleport to get to your team when a little bit more foresight would have gotten you there. A nuts game. We'll look and see how this fight went down here. Okay, so you come top, but you should have seen that you should see that Dragon is up, and you shouldn't be heading top in the first place. So you do head top. Ashe isn't on the same page for some reason. I don't know what she's doing. But you head top, and then you realize, oops, I should have headed to Dragon, so you teleport to Dragon. Ashe, I don't know what Ashe is doing. That's terrifying. So Ashe is just hanging out, and that's honestly why you lose this fight, I think, in the big picture. Okay, so you secure Dragon, and now they're collapsing. And look at them, they're so out of position. Jinx is out of position. These guys aren't ready to fight. Blitzcrank goes way too far that direction. Sona should have ulted Yasuo immediately. And now you're all on different pages. I'm not sure why you aren't charging Yasuo right now. Ashe is... What is... Oh my gosh. Okay, so she ults in. You catch Jinx and Yas in your ult and Blitz. You get a 3-man ult. That's solid. Not enough damage to really be super effective. Ashe's arrow misses. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you going? Where are you going? This is the target. Jinx is the target. Jinx is the target. Jinx is the target. You built damage and you have Randuins now. Kill Jinx. Okay, let me just look at this again. I'm trying to understand what you're thinking here. So you go in on Yas. That's fine. Yas flashes. You catch Jinx in your ult. Kill Jinx. Like, she ends up destroying your entire team. I mean, Yas is a threat, but he has Guardian Angel, and he's Yasuo. He's miserable to try to lock down. You have Sona here, who still didn't ult. That's amazing. And you have Rammus, who's gonna lock down Jinx. This is your kill. This is 100% your kill. Kill Jinx. Kill Jinx, and this whole thing. You probably don't win this fight still, but the game doesn't end. So you don't kill Jinx. Jinx goes on to kill Rammus. And then Blitzcrank lands a good pull, and Jinx kills you. And then Jinx kills Ashe, and that's the game. Okay, so you wasted teleport getting to Dragon, but that wasn't really even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is your target prioritization. When you go in like that, I'm not sure why you backed off this way. You gave up way too early. You was do or die at that point. You had to kill Jinx. The fight was over. Ezreal had gotten killed over here trying to deal with these guys. You needed to take Jinx out, and then maybe you could turn your attention. That's the major source of their DPS. Then maybe you could turn your attention to one of the other targets or look at escaping. But Jinx had to die. So again, this game kind of went south on you a while ago. So even if you had killed Jinx, that probably wouldn't have won the team fight, but you would have been able to delay the inevitable or the end of the game for a while. Basically, you spent way too much time alone in this game. You are a team fighting champion. Wukong is an incredibly strong team fighting champion. You need to be making sure that you are team fighting, not split pushing. If you want to split push, don't play Wukong. Play a split push champion. Play Tryndamere. Play Quinn. Play Shaco. Play Master Yi. Play Udyr. Play somebody who is actually really good at split pushing and brings really a lot of good tools to that role, and and you're not out there alone wasting the fact that you have this gigantically strong team fight ultimate. And if you're going to split push on anybody, whatever the case is, you need to learn how to split push. You need to learn when the good times to split push are. You need to be throwing vision down. You never upgraded your trinket, so you did not have appropriate vision when you're split pushing, so you don't know who's coming to deal with you, or how many are coming to deal with you, or when they're coming to deal with you. You don't know if you need to run, or if you can stay, or if you should kind of hang back a little bit so they know you're there, but you're not leaving completely. You don't know if you need, you don't have enough information. You didn't pick good times to split because your team wasn't in position. Your team needed you. This team was too strong for you to be split pushing in the first place. But even in a situation where your team is okay in a 4v5, are they able to survive long enough in the 4v5 and protect an important objective that you can get an objective on your own? Or are you able to draw enough attention to yourself that your team can win a fight, 4v4, 4v3, whatever? Or are you able to draw enough attention to yourself that your team can easily secure another objective? You're trying to make the enemy team make a choice. Do we deal with you, or do we deal with them? Do we deal with you, or do we deal with this? Do we save this turret? Do we take Baron? Do we take this inhibitor, or do we save our inhibitor? You gotta make a choice. And at low elo, teams are terrible at making good choices. That's where you can actually, get a big advantage is by forcing them to make a choice, and they'll often make a bad one. But you're not making them make a choice here. It's pretty obvious. They can win a 4v5, and you're not really threatening anything important. It's an outer turret, so who cares? And then if they do come, but even if they did come to you, what was your team going to do? Nothing. Like, maybe if they leave, then you've saved the turret, but then you ended up sticking around anyway. So, like, even if you're thinking, I'm going to split push because I'm trying to draw attention away from them pushing mid, well, that's great. You drew attention away from them pushing mid, but then you stuck around anyway and got killed. So you're kind of split pushing just to split push. And that's not an effective strategy. It will lose you games, and it kind of lost you this game, to be honest. So you got to think that through, and when you're playing a team fight champion like Wu, you need to be with your team so that you can win team fights. This game would have gone very differently, I think, if you had been grouped with your team more consistently. So, anyway, I hope that's helpful. Thanks for the chance to take a look at this game, and I will look forward to hearing from you again sometime soon. Best of luck.